Cubs. Today we are going to continue with our shared reading of The Good Egg by Jory John and Pete Oswald. Now, yesterday, I'm sure some of you guys didn't get to see this, but yesterday I asked you to tell me what the character traits of our good egg are and what the solution is. And we got a lot of great comments. One of the character traits, and I'm going to put it on a post-it. I'm going to take this post-it off and put this post-it on. And let's keep a list of our character traits. So what are the character traits of the good egg? And I said, don't say good. So I appreciate those of us who didn't say good. We got helpful. Nishvita said helpful. And I think that that's a really good one, because he does like to be help other people, right? And Trinity co-signed that. She agreed. So did Shreya. Shreya also said he's nice. He's just a nice egg. He is. He's helpful. He's nice. Usually if we're helpful, we are nice, but I guess not always, right? I think that Sarvanch had a really good one, which he said he is stressed. He is a stressed out egg. But that's a feeling, right? So we don't want to say, I think that I know what you're getting at. So stress is really a feeling that we have. It's not necessarily something you feel all the time. The same thing goes with exhaustion. Exhaustion and stress are things that come and go. So if we are trying to say all the time he's stressed, we might say he is, or worried, we might say he is anxious. Anxious is when you're worried all the time. Like that's a person that... Anxious is the character trait that kind of means the same thing as the feeling of worry. All right? So that's the word. Worried is, instead of worried, we would say anxious as a character trait. So Sarvanch said worried, stressed. And Lou also said worried. Those are great words to describe how he's feeling, but I would say in general he's an anxious egg, right? He's always worried about stuff. So that's what we would say. As far as the solution goes, a lot of us had ideas, and I'm going to share those once we get to this. But I do want us to keep in mind that on our story mountain, most of the story happens, and the solution, this is the most exciting part, right? The solution happens right here as we're descending, as our story is ending. And our story ends really fast, right? It's like we go straight down. So if something happens here, like he leaves the carton to be away for bad behavior, how can that be the solution when we still have this much left of the book? So we've got to kind of keep that in mind. So maybe leaving the carton is the thing that leads him to a solution. Because we had a few people who said that leaving the cartons when he goes away from the eggs, that's a solution. But there's so much rest of the story that happens, we could kind of know that that's not the full solution. Maybe it leads him to a solution. All right? Very good. So let's read our second half of The Good Egg. Get your eggy voices ready, because you know he's got... Oh. He fell. Oh. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so we're going to start from this page. Are we ready? Get your egg voices ready. Let's go. Read together. I left that night. I wandered from town to town. The hours became days. The days became weeks. I lost track of time. I was alone. Out there on the road, under the stars, I really tried to focus on myself and what I needed. So as we read that page, I hope you took a pause at each of these commas, right? Because that's when we're supposed to take a pause. And then you stress the I. That's important too. I thought about what I needed. Okay. I took walks. I read books. I floated in the river. I wrote in my journal. I found simple moments to be quiet. I breathed in. I breathed out. I even started painting. for once, I found time for me. And guess what? Little by little, the cracks in my shell started to heal. My head no longer felt scrambled. Oh, this is the big picture. I don't know. You could kind of see it. All right, here we go. I started to feel like myself again. So I've made a big decision. I'm returning to my old carton and my friends. Besides, I'm kind of lonely out here. This time, I know what I need to do. I'll try not to worry so much. I'll be good to my fellow eggs while also being good to myself. Here we go. Everybody missed me. I miss them too. Welcome home. Hello, Meg. Howdy, Peg. Hey, Greg. Greetings, Clegg. What's up, Shell? Aloha, Shelly. Hey, yo, Sheldon. Hi, Shelby. Good day, Egbert. What's happening, Frank? Howdy do, other Frank. Sure, every once in a while, somebody's a little bit bad, but it's not like before. Here's what I realized. The other eggs aren't perfect, and I don't have to be either. I'm okay with that. Yep, the old carton is back together. We're a solid dozen again. It's good to be home. All right, so that's the end of The Good Egg. And we're going to come back to our story map. Now, some of you guys said, Diley said he does not worry about the other eggs. That's the solution. He does not worry a lot about the other eggs. And that's kind of what Sarvanch said, which is that he stopped worrying. That's his solution. He stopped worrying. And Louisa says the solution is he doesn't always have to be good or so worried. And I think that is truly our solution, because when we think about what has happened in the book, after he leaves the carton, what happens? Well, he learns, what does he learn? He learns to take me time, right? Where he focuses on himself, because that's important. And then what happens? What's the most exciting part? He learns to take me time, and then he heals, right? He's not as cracked up. And then the most exciting part, before we know if he's going to be able to do the thing, before we know his solution. So what do we think is the most exciting part? Well, let's go back and read our problems. The good egg is cracking up because he worries too much about the other egg's behavior. So then he leaves. But does that help him? Does that mean that if he returns, he wouldn't worry about their behavior? No, we don't know that yet. We just know that he heals himself and he calms down and he gives himself time to think about himself instead of everybody else. So our most exciting part of this is when the good egg goes home. Because do we know what's going to happen? We don't know if he's going to not crack up again. He might. And so our solution is kind of that thing that our friends said, Diley and Louisa and Sarvanch, that thing that they said, which is the good egg goes home. He doesn't, you could say he doesn't worry about the other eggs' behavior. I'm going to put, he learns exactly what one of my friends says. He learns. Let me copy it down word for word. He learns he doesn't have to be so good. We'll put so good or perfect, right? So he learns he doesn't have to be so good or perfect, and he stops worrying about them. He doesn't worry about the other eggs. That's his solution, right? He's able to not worry about the other eggs. And how does he do that? Because he learned that he doesn't have to be good or so perfect. You could also say he learned that he has to take care of himself. That could be his lesson. The lesson, what he learns, that's his solution, right? It helps him deal with the fact that he worried so much about the other egg's behavior. And then here's our downward action. Let me move that over here. Downward action, and we end it with we're ending our story, he's back in his garden, right? Kind of the way he started. He started in the garden and he ended in the garden. All right. And so that is our story, our plot points in the bad seed, the good egg. That's our plot points in the good egg. And does the good egg change a character trait? That's my question for you. Because, we talk about how emotions change, right? How you feel changes. Like someone could be mad one moment and then 10 minutes later they could be happy. That's something that changes. Or someone might be mad for like a year or two, and then that might change. So it can be a character, that's an emotion. But character traits, unless something big happens to a character, they don't usually change. But something big did happen for our egg. He left the carton and took a lot of time away from himself. So has he changed? Has his anxious character trait changed into another character trait? Did the thing that happened, was it so big that it changed him as a person as an egg? That's the question I have for you. Did his character trait of anxious change? And if so, how would you say? What word would you say instead of anxious now? At the beginning, he's anxious, but at the end, he's what? If you think the character trait changed for good. All right. Great job, Cubs. We will meet tomorrow. Tomorrow at, I believe, 11:30. So at 11:30 on Teams, we will have our shared reading live. So we'll do our final reading of The Good Egg together tomorrow at 11:30 on Teams. I'll share what you say, of course. I'll share your feedback about the character traits at the beginning, and then we'll read the book together. Now, I'll record it if you can't join us, but I would love for you to be able to join us. So at 11:30 on Teams, we will read The Good Egg live. All right? Have a great day, guys.